Now, it's time for Tech Talk Live, brought to you by Refresh Computers, with your host, David Leavitt.
Hello and welcome to Tech Talk right here on WDBO, AM 580, always streaming inside your WDBO app. If you want to join the conversation, I invite you to open up your WDBO app and send in an open mic, and we can play it back live on a future episode of Tech Talk. This show, of course, is brought to you by the Refresh Computers Superstore over there in Longwood, located at 820 East State Road. Again, in Longwood. If you want to call in, 407-478-8200 is the number to call. 407-478-8200 is the number. And it's also, let me say who I'm here. It's not just a special Josh hour of Tech Talk. We do have the people you actually tune in to listen to. We have David and Adam from the Refresh Computers. How are you guys doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Doing great. Great. Glad to be here. Just got back from a long road trip again.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Where'd you go?
Went to New York City, and
that is a long road trip.
From there we took off to Niagara Falls to see that again. Last time I was there, it was in March of, I don't remember the year, but it was still partially frozen over.
Oh,
the
wow.
falls.
Wow.
So this time we got to see the whole thing, without any delay in the water flow.
Did you get on the boat and go do the tour on the water?
Maid of the Mist.
That's the one.
Yes, of course.
Wow.
That's a blast. So anyhow, I went out there in my new RV. I got a Winnebago Echo. It's EKKO 23B, which I was really happy to get. I got that about a month ago, and boy, am I going to be using it. We had a show several weeks ago, about a month or so ago.
We had a couple shows, actually.
About me in an RV that I rented when we went out west, and once a week, we'd get a phone call here from the studio, and I'd be questioned about where we are, what we're using technology for on the road. So that was a really cool 3 weeks of shows there. And so today I want to say, one of the things that we mentioned on one of those shows a few months ago was Starlink, and they're the types of services that you can get now in a mobile application.
Yeah. All satellite-based.
Satellite-based, yes. Mr. Elon there. And so I elected to install the permanent antenna mount on top of my RV, which gives me full-time internet, mobile internet, while on the road. There's another option that you can get that's a little bit less expensive, where you can't use it in motion, but when you're camped out somewhere, you can pull out your antenna and plug it in and use your Starlink that way. But, I elected for the one that I don't have to do anything with. Just
you don't have to worry about it.
It's a little bit more money, and it's unlimited internet. It's like $160 a month. So it's really not that bad considering all the places that you can, when you travel. Like, I love to travel. I'll be going to Baja, Mexico, probably sometime in September, October timeframe in my new rig. And eventually plan to take it all the way up to Dead Horse, Alaska. You can look that up on the map.
Doing that right now. Thanks, Google.
It's a place I never heard of until he was talking about it a couple months ago.
And one of these days, I'll be taking it all the way to a place called Ushuaia. Ushuaia is in Argentina. And you can look that up as well if you want to, because I'll tell you real quickly, briefly, the Dead Horse, Alaska, you can't drive any farther north. So if you're
you hit water, right?
If you're a road hound like me, I just love being on the road, just exploring and seeing different things. You can go drive all the way up to Dead Horse. That's where, if you ever heard of the show Ice Road Truckers.
My family loves watching that, so I know all about it.
That's that road.
Oh, really?
Except you don't drive on it in January. You have to do it during the summer months. It's a gravel road. It's about 300 and some miles of gravel. Gets you all the way up to the close to the Arctic Ocean, and from there you can take a little excursion and get to the Arctic Ocean, which I will do, and I'll dip my toes in it. And then Ushuaia, Argentina is kind of like the opposite of Dead Horse, Alaska. It's as far south as you can possibly drive a vehicle. It's where the road ends in the South America, and where the Antarctic Ocean is. So I'll dip my toes in that as well.
I was going to say, you're going to dip toes in both oceans.
So,
that's incredible.
Yeah, this is all planned in the next several years for me, and fortunately for me, we have such great help in the store, like Adam and Casper and all the guys there. that, I can actually be away for periods of time. I'm 66 years old. I don't mind mentioning that. And I've worked all my life, busted my butt to get to this point. So, if I can do it, I'm going to do it. Yeah. It's deserving.
No time is better to do it than now.
Well, yeah, that's the fact. So anyway, using the Starlink satellite, which I've been using for the last several weeks on my new rig, has just been nothing short of awesome.
Yeah.
I get speeds up to around 300 megabits per second, which isn't bad.
That's about almost average what you could find with other providers now.
In your home, too. A lot of people get, 250, 500 megabits maybe, but 300 megabits, that's great because...
Especially for satellite with no cables coming from somewhere,
It's awesome. You can have the TV on and watch your Netflix anywhere, and, and any kind of streaming show is...
Not to mention the security of it, too. You're not connecting to sketchy hotel Wi-Fi or free access Wi-Fi.
See, we talked all about that in previous shows about, but now I'm on my own. I have my own network, mobile network, and my own Wi-Fi. And it's just awesome to be able to use, and it's very secure.
It is,
like you said, Adam. So in other news with SpaceX, we also talked about a couple months ago about a trial that I signed up for with T-Mobile, because I have T-Mobile I use for my cell phone service. T-Mobile had a trial going on with SpaceX so that you can send and receive text messages where there is no cell phone coverage because you're using the satellite.
Yeah, and I think T-Mobile is actually starting to roll that out now. I think it was the 23rd that actually became available to the general
customers. Public. So you didn't have to enroll like I had to do. I had to enroll in the trial period, which I was glad I was accepted because I actually used it. I was at Yellowstone National Park a couple months ago using that. And one of the things I didn't realize until you're in Yellowstone National Park is the fact that almost that entire park, it has no cell phone coverage.
Really?
Yeah.
None. And I think maybe that might be on purpose because, there's buffaloes crossing the streets everywhere and there's, all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So, there's just literally no cell phone coverage. But I could send and receive text throughout that whole park because I was connected to satellite with my T-Mobile device. So
that's one of the places that's a very good example of how satellite can help because you don't really have too much coverage as far as your mobile network, and there's no obscurities to the sky either. So you're not blocked out from the satellites.
And in the phone, if you're interested in knowing, instead of 5G or SOS, which is what it used to say, it says SAT, S-A-T. I was hoping for a little picture of a satellite, but that didn't happen.
A little Star Trek symbol or something.
Yeah,
I have seen before. There's some calibration you do with it where your iPhone will show at the top, kind of like a satellite.
Oh, really?
It's like a beam coming down to slowly focus on you. It's a cool little experience.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to check that out. I didn't know you could do that. But anyway, there's over 500,000 square miles of territory in the United States that there is no cell phone coverage at all. And so within this 500,000 square miles, and Yellowstone is a part of that, you can access text messaging. So when you can't send a text with a photo. I'll throw that out there. I think the photo won't go through. You can send the text with the photo, but the photo won't go through.
I think they are working on it, though. They're trying to push for it to support MMS, which is your multimedia messaging. But you also have there's some various texting apps that I know they're trying to integrate right now. One of them being, if I remember correctly, it's WhatsApp. They're trying to make it so if you're trying to communicate or text through WhatsApp, that app can still communicate even through satellite.
So if you're interested in getting this, and if you have T-Mobile, actually they've extended it. T-Mobile is actually through an agreement with Starlink. They have, or SpaceX, they have agreed to allow other users, AT&T users, and all that to kind of piggyback onto this. And
T-Mobile is the big one that they're really just pushing with right now.
So what kind of phones is this capable with?
So it's more than what I was expecting. There's over 60 different phone models right now that support this, and pretty much the general rule of it is if you've got, say, an iPhone 13 or newer, or a Galaxy device, an S21 or newer, you're going to be able to use these services. Almost any smartphone, mainstream smartphone that was manufactured after 2021 should have this support now. And, if you think back to 2021, were you thinking about satellite text messaging?
No.
Because I sure wasn't.
I wasn't thinking about that last year.
Yeah.
And so what's the cost?
The cost, if you don't have a plan that includes it, because T-Mobile does have some plans that include it, it's only $10 a month.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
but
I just got dinged for $10.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was the same for...
But I think they have plans called Explore Beyond and Go 5G. I think those two plans, if you have with T-Mobile, I'm pretty sure they're
including it. Yeah,
the
why not?
satellite messaging.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, but those are their top tier plans. So at that point, I almost expect you have just throw that in there. It's just a little bit extra access.
And again, if you have other cell phone providers like AT&T and others, they are T-Mobile and SpaceX are partnering together, but they are allowing other vendors to piggyback.
And this is mainly maximized by some clients out in the west of the country, I would imagine.
Probably.
Where it's very, because I don't know, you may have seen those population density maps where once you get east of the or west of the Mississippi, there's one neighbor every 500,000 miles.
Yeah.
And there's 90 buffalo in between you two. But because if you're from here, if you're a Florida man like myself, it's hard to even imagine that kind of scarcity out there.
Yeah,
and not having a cell phone, exactly.
Cell phone coverage. Where in Florida do you not have a cell phone
Exactly.
coverage? I don't think
in one of our
there's
caves,
any place.
maybe.
Yeah.
The only time I've experienced it was all the way in the middle of the desert in California. I had no cell service. First time I've ever experienced that. But it's something that once you experience it, it's like, oh crap, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I've got nothing. And that's where this kind of can come in handy too. If you've got a flat tire and you're in the middle of an isolated region or something, if you have this satellite messaging, you finally have a lifeline that you can get out to AAA or somebody that you need help because you've got a flat tire.
Because I know if you're driving the highway here in Florida and it says next rest stop 45 miles, you're not as panicked as when you're in the middle of Utah and it says next rest stop 273 miles.
Yeah.
You're like, I better do everything I need to do.
Yep. I should probably get gas before I go to this next rest stop.
Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
So what else is going on with Mr. Musk and company?
Well, I know that he's still been pushing AI as hard as he always has been. He speaks about how AI is the future for humanity, and he's been talking about how we should become a multi-planet species next. He's got a lot of grand ideas right now.
He does, but even Grok, which is his brainchild, of course, when he gave up his interest in ChatGPT, they have Grok 4 now, which is like the most advanced Grok, which is the AI. Folks, I use Grok all the time.
I've been using it a lot too.
I don't Google anything anymore. I Grok it.
Yeah, it's actually just got implemented into my car. I just got an update for it. Now I can have it tell me how quantum mechanics work while I have it driving me somewhere.
But didn't it go off on somebody? Didn't it go off on a rant?
It went
recently?
on a very weird rant for a little bit there. That
when it gets into my world in the news world, that's when it may have said a couple things. But Grok can be interesting sometimes.
It can be.
Yeah, and I gotta wonder. I don't know, what kind of marketing, scheme it could have been. But it's Elon stuff. Elon has been worried, and he's been very vocal and public about worrying about AI and what it can do. And all of a sudden, here's one of his products, doing what he's kind of warning us about a little bit. Right? It's going off with all kinds of racial slurs, right? Or something.
Very obscene things that was just going on. And I know from my research I was doing into it, it happened from an update to make Grok more human-like. I'm putting very big air quotes here, people. Human-like. And that's where the bomb just went off right there.
Yeah,
so,
it's crazy.
But I know they recouped that now. Grok 4 is in a much better place. They've done a bunch of back-end work on it to try and work out those kinks because there's no lines that AI has, really. There's no lines that it knows it crosses. So,
and there are some boundaries that they kind of program in there, so it hopefully doesn't go off on a rant like it did.
Yeah.
But I haven't had really a bad experience with it. I've had a couple of odd experiences using Grok and other AI tools where it would give me an answer that that I knew wasn't maybe not quite right.
Yeah.
And so, but if you go in and when you think that might happen, when you're using Grok as a tool, you can just say, hey, can you clarify that for me? I think I might have missed something. And you can put in there what you might have missed, and it'll come back and even apologize sometimes.
Yeah. I've had times where I've called it out on incorrect information, and it backtracks and says, oh, I'm so sorry, I am incorrect. Here, let me give you the correct information.
Well, stay tuned, folks. We're going to come back with more of this stuff right after this break.
Welcome back to Tech Talk here on WDBO AM 580, always streaming inside your WDBO app. Again, this show brought to you by Refresh Computers. I invite you to save this number in your phone. We have a lot of, you hear a lot of phone numbers on the air, on WDBO, on TV throughout the world. But this is one you should definitely have in your phone because it's like a free tech superstar in your pocket that you can always, it's your own personal AI, but it's not AI, it's a human. It's a human. It's a phone call away from the answer you need. It's a tech support hotline. That's, again, the Refresh Computers store number at 407-478-8200. 407-478-8200. Sitting in studio today with David and Adam.
All right. Thanks, Josh. And thanks, everybody, for listening to Tech Talk with Refresh Computers. We really appreciate it. In the previous segment, we talked about all kinds of things, mostly SpaceX-related stuff and satellite service and what you can do now with your phones and satellite and stuff like that. If you missed any of that or you want to rehash what we talked about, you can go to our website at refreshcomputers.net. Click on that podcast link at the top of the page there, and you'll be able to hear this show in its entirety for
whatever
free.
You need. Exactly.
And no commercials. So it's about 40-some minutes, about 40 minutes in length right there on the website at refreshcomputers.net. So, this segment, we just want to talk a little bit about something that just popped up in the news, Adam, with Microsoft. And it has to do with Microsoft and passwords. Is Microsoft not doing passwords anymore?
Yeah,
What's that mean?
This is a function I never knew with the Microsoft Authenticator app because Microsoft's Authenticator app, if anybody that doesn't know, it's a app that you can do two-factor codes with. So normally you get a little text, but sometimes you can just set it up with an app. So this app actually used to let you save in your passwords almost like a password manager. There's ones out there like NordPass, Bitwarden, LastPass, all of those password managers. Authenticator app just had another function like that. And Microsoft is actually, August 1st, they're going to stop supporting saving passwords at all in their Authenticator app. So you can't add passwords, you can't edit them. But it is slowly to transform into what Microsoft is pushing, which are called passkeys,
facial recognition,
Face ID, Touch ID, anything like that.
So they don't want to use like physical passwords anymore.
Exactly.
They there's no more digits and numbers and
they want to focus on biometrics now.
Biometrics, yeah. So fingerprints, your face, stuff like that.
Yeah. So starting August 1st, the Authenticator app is not going to let you add passwords or edit the passwords that are saved. I don't think it's going to delete all of your passwords out of it. That would be a really bad thing to do to some people because myself, I rely on password managers and I know how that would derail my whole life.
Well, so just to be clear, it's not the password you use to log into your Microsoft account.
No.
Not that. Not that at all. It's not what we're talking about. Microsoft actually makes an app, for lack of a better word, called an authenticator. So it's a Microsoft authenticator that some people use in order to access certain accounts. So when you set up some banks, for example, might allow you to use an authenticator to log in instead of putting a password. And so this is a app made by Microsoft. And in this app is where they're doing away with handling passwords.
Yes.
Because in this app now, they want to use strictly facial recognition or biometrics, you said.
And I feel that's going to cause a lot of headache in the couple months coming because, everybody's been used to passwords. I remember using passwords my whole life for any account I've had, and now being forced to switch over to passkeys, it's just kind of a change that myself personally, I don't want to have to go through because I like having my passwords. That's just how I am.
Well, yeah, me too, but, I see this as something that's going to be going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, going forward, passwords are going to be going away in the near future.
Yeah.
We're in our lifetime, passwords will be going away.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. But they're still here, so we can still use them. So nothing to worry about right now. So if you heard about Microsoft's Authenticator app not handling passwords anymore, it's not Microsoft logging into your Microsoft account.
Yeah.
That's completely different. But got to take a hard break here for the news, folks. We appreciate you listening to Tech Talk with Refresh Computers. We'll be back right after this break.
Welcome back to Tech Talk here on WDBO, AM 580, always streaming inside your WDBO app. Got Adam and David from the Refresh Computer Superstore guiding us through another great hour of tech superstar information here on the airwaves of WDBO. I want you to go ahead and save down this number in your phone because it is a free tech support hotline that you can reach out to if you have a question on really anything. I shouldn't say anything. Probably most things
technology-wise.
They wouldn't tell you how to feed your dog or what happened if your dog ate chocolate.
Well, and since you mentioned it, Josh.
Yep. Can I give the number first before we get to that? Okay. The number that's very useful you to have is 407-478-8200. 407-478-8200. 8200. And what are some things maybe we can do with that number, David?
Well, what we can do and what we can't do with the number. What we can do is anything technology-wise, give us a call. Mm-hmm. We'll give you a few minutes over the phone. And the reason I kind of emphasize a few minutes is because some people like to call and just chat about what you said, Josh, their dogs, their neighbors, what's going on. And, and while you're doing that, we have other people probably waiting to talk to us about some technology stuff. So we would ask that you kind of keep it brief and we'll be happy to respond and help you with any kind of tech issue or tech question. Sometimes you can't figure out how to hook up your printer.
Yeah.
You got a new printer. I just can't get the Wi-Fi. Don't try to call the manufacturer. Don't try to call these people because you're going to be wasting all your time just trying to get to somebody. Call the free tech support hotline. That's what it's there for. 407-478-8200. And we will tell you over the phone how you can hook up your Wi-Fi to your printer and stuff like that, right?
It's something that, if we can just help you over the phone with, if it's adjusting some settings maybe on your computer, hooking up your printer, getting something connected to your Wi-Fi, that's something we're able to help out with, definitely.
Or maybe you have a question, your computer's starting to run slow. Yeah. And it's like, geez, I can't figure out, it was working fine, and over time, it just started bogging down. What's going on with it? We can go over a couple quick things with you over the phone, and sometimes we'll have to tell you, but you need to bring that in, right? And we can check it a little bit further. But we can at least start over the phone and get you going. Yeah, hopefully, without any cost whatsoever to you.
Exactly. Yeah,
if we can do that, that's why it's the free tech support hotline. So we've had that for many years now. I remember when it's probably been 15 years or so when I told my store manager, hey, we're going to have a free tech support hotline. He's like, are you nuts? I said, what? We're going to have all these calls. I said, yeah, but you know what? It's going to be helping people. Yeah. We actually, at that point, we had to start, we hired extra people for the free tech support hotline. And it just has been such a great tool for people to use that we'll always have it. And that's my promise to you. So this segment, we do want to talk about some deals going on at Refresh Computers. So, these are very good quality refurbished laptops and desktops at Refresh Computers. That's what we are all about. And so I'm going to turn it over to Adam. And Adam, you can start mentioning some of these great deals going on right now at Refresh Computers, which, by the way, before you get started, Adam, I want to make sure everybody knows everything Adam's talking about. You can go to the website at refreshcomputers.net and you can buy it right there on the website. Pay for it. If you see it on the website, it's in stock. Yep. So you can pay for it there. You can select that you're going to pick it up, and then we'll have it ready for you. They will typically give you a text or a phone call when it's ready to pick up.
Yep.
Usually they're ready now, but sometimes they're not. So,
Sometimes we've got some stuff we're still doing with them, or you request an upgrade, and that's something that we just have to take the 10 or 15 minutes to put in real quick, but it is something that's really quick.
That's true. And speaking of upgrades, everything that you're going to mention, is just about everything anyways, upgradable.
Yes.
So you can add memory, you can add a bigger solid-state drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, you can pick all those things on the website too when you're buying this any computer or laptop at Refresh Computers, and we can ship it too.
That's what I was going to mention. We can ship to anything of the continental United States.
That's right. Yep. We use FedEx as our preferred shipping partner. Sometimes people have a P.O. box, so we have to ship with the post office. We'll do that. But anyway, Adam, talk about some of these great deals.
Yeah, so one of the best laptops I say we have as far as your budget goes, you just need a little something that you just sit down, do some basic work with.
Windows 11, right?
Windows 11, yes.
Yeah.
That's going to be our Dell Latitude 3300. So this laptop, it's a little 13-inch laptop. It's not too heavy. It only weighs a couple pounds. It's got an i5 processor in it with a brand new solid state. And that's one of the major things that goes into every one of our refurbished computers is that brand new solid state. We get them right from the manufacturer. There's no middleman. There's no additional stuff put on those drives beforehand. They are brand new drives. This laptop with Windows 11 Pro comes in at $199.99.
So this is a great entry-level laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's the laptop when people come in and we try to qualify them. What are you looking for? What do you use it for? This laptop for $199. Probably 95% of the people using laptops, this is all you need.
Exactly. And that's always what I first go to is this 3300 because it is what Dave just said. 95% of our customers, this is what they need.
So, it's a smaller screen, 13.3 inch, but we have other 13-inch screens. We also have 14-inch, 15-inch, 17-inch screen laptops in stock. And so, of course, as the screen size goes up, so does the price typically. So, anyway, go ahead.
We have a Lenovo ThinkPad X13. So you've probably heard that name before, ThinkPad. It's one of Lenovo's business class models that they have. One of their good models, I would say, as well. Just like any other brand.
There's only 3 companies that make business class laptops. That's Dell, Lenovo, and HP. And so this Lenovo ThinkPad is, not to be confused with the fact that they all 3 also make consumer grade.
Exactly.
Cheap, plasticky consumer grades.
We could have a whole show about that too.
Yeah, we've had shows about that. But all of these that you're mentioning are business class.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Yes, so this ThinkPad X13, it has an i5 10th generation processor in it, so it's not too old at all. Comes in with 256 gigabytes of that new solid-state storage as well. Windows 11 Pro, we have that for $299.99. And this is just a nice little laptop. If you don't need just the 3300, maybe you just need a little bit more. That's what this X13 would fit right into for you.
And this was a $700 or $800 laptop.
Easily, yes. Yeah, these ThinkPads are not cheap if you're buying them brand new. So we also have the Dell Latitude 5400. That's going to be a 14-inch laptop. Dell loves to sneak their laptop screen size into that model number. The 4 there is for 14-inch.
Yep.
So we've got that with an i7 processor, 16 gigs of RAM with 256 gigabytes of storage, Windows 11 Pro for only $319.99.
And that's important to know, too, that the fact that these are all Windows 11 Pro machines is because, as we've been talking about over the last several months, Windows 10 is expiring this October.
Yeah.
So
it's coming up fast now, too.
It's coming up really fast. So we have plenty of, we've actually stocked, we overstocked, actually. Right?
Yeah, the whole stock room right now
is full. And the reason is because, people, if you don't have a Windows 11 capable desktop or laptop, you need to upgrade. You just need to if you're going to be on the internet in order to stay safe.
And that's the thing is with Windows 10 support being dropped, there are hardware requirements that most systems, I believe it's 60% of Windows 10 systems right now cannot upgrade to Windows 11 because of those hardware requirements.
Well, we got you covered right there at Refresh Computers. So
exactly.
Continue with these great deals, Adam.
We've also got the Dell Latitude 3520. This is one of my favorite laptops that we have in the store right now. It's a nice 15-inch. It's a i5 11th generation processor. 16 gigabytes of RAM, that 256 gigabytes of solid-state storage. with Windows 11 Pro for $499.99.
And this is a $1,000 laptop for $500.
We also, if we're getting into the realm, say, of desktops, you don't need a laptop, don't need the mobility. You just want something you can stick in your house and use when you need to.
Or your business.
Exactly. We've got the nice HP Elite Desk 800 G5 system in store that'll fit right in for you. It's an i5 system. It's got that 16 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage with Windows 11 Pro for $249.99.
This is a great desktop. It's a small form factor, so it's about 13 inches by 13 inches by maybe 3.5 inches wide. Very popular size, probably the most popular size desktop. This will also sit down flat if you want to.
You can lay it flat, put your monitor just on top of it, and just have it just sat right there, just out of the way.
Or stand it on the side, whichever way you want.
So we also have the Dell Optiplex 3070 system. This one comes in with that same i5 processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and 256 gigabytes of storage. The small form factor Optiplex from Dell, we're looking at $269.99 on that system.
Is this the one that has the extra video cards in it?
I believe so, yes. It's got a DisplayPort, 2 DisplayPort on it, if I remember correctly.
So that's one of the reasons why it's a little bit more, so you can hook up a couple different monitors to it.
Yeah, this one I think it can support up to 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
Yes. Yeah. So, say you want something that's going to be just a little bit better, an all-in-one unit. All-in-one units, they're great because there's so many hookups, you don't have to worry about just plug in your keyboard, mouse, power. That's it.
Takes up less space.
Exactly.
I know my wife likes it in our house because, you don't have all the cable clutter.
Yeah. We've got the Lenovo Idea Center 3. It's a 24-inch touchscreen all-in-one. So this all-in-one, it's an i5 processor, 256 gigabytes of storage that we can upgrade that too. You can upgrade that all the way. I believe we have up to 2 terabytes in store right now.
2 terabyte solid-state drives.
We can upgrade to that. And this system also comes with a wireless professional keyboard and mouse from Lenovo.
Right. It's a Lenovo branded, the professional keyboard and mouse from Lenovo, wireless, of course. So for $399?
$399.99. That's a steal of a system when you're thinking about it. You got the system, the monitor, the keyboard, the mouse, you got window, you've got everything
and
right
it's a
there.
touchscreen.
And touchscreen.
All for $400.
Yeah. So let's say you need something that can do a little bit more heavy lifting. Maybe you're doing some CAD work, 3D modeling, just that kind of stuff. Then we've got a Dell Precision system that's going to be right for you. So this is the Dell Precision T3630. This is a mid-tower, if I remember correctly, the size of it. So it's a little bit larger than the small form factor. This one has an i7 processor in it with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage.
Brand new. 12 gigs, solid state.
The heavy lifter in this actually comes with an NVIDIA GTX 1060 graphics card in it.
This is such a cool graphics card.
It is.
It has 4 ports on it. So you can hook up to 4 monitors. It has 6 gig of memory on the graphics card. And why is that important?
Because anything that's going to be using the graphics card, it can be games, it can be AutoCAD work, it can be 3D modeling. They are going to use that video memory first because it is faster and just more efficient.
Okay, instead of the memory on your computer.
Exactly.
Which, this one has adequate 16 gig of RAM. But the other good thing about this, I call this the architect's version of a desktop, basically, because that video card in there, if you have one monitor plugged into that video card, that one monitor is using the whole 6 gig of video. If you have 2, then the 2 monitors are.
They're kind of sharing.
So it's sharing. So it kind of reduces the ability of it to produce very high level graphics. So it's not a gaming computer. Let's throw that out there. It's not that type of video card that's in here, but it's an architect's video card, right? Yeah. Or an engineer's,
and this
or a general contractor. If you're always getting if you're a GC, you know what I'm talking about. You're always getting these files from your engineers and your architects, and you want to be able to read them without delay. Yeah. This card will help you.
Yes, and I've even tried to open 3D modeling files before just on a regular Optiplex that has no video card, and let me tell you, if a computer could cry, it was crying. It was not happy trying to open that up.
It eventually opens it, but it's kind of tough. But this video code, so it's for $400, $399.99. And don't forget, you can get any of these deals by going to the website at refreshcomputers.net. And you can type in, for example, T3630, to find this Precision desktop from Dell with this extra NVIDIA GTX 6 gig of video RAM video card installed for $399.99. You can reserve yours by just going there, picking it, pay for it, indicate that you're going to pick it up at the store, and we'll have it ready for you. Typically by the time you can get there, but you might want to wait for us to text you or call you just to make sure, especially if you're going to get an upgrade, because you can also select upgrades up to 2 terabytes. This one will take up to, I think, 128 gig of RAM if you wanted to, or at least 64 gig anyway.
Yeah, this is one of the heavy lifters from Dell. Dell Precisions is their high end of their business class. So business class is already your high end, but then you've got the high end of the high end, which is the Precision.
That's right. So again, refreshcomputers.net, where you can find all of these deals. So we're going to take a little break here. We're going to come back and talk about some businesses who have done business with Refresh Computers right after this break.
Welcome back to Tech Talk here on WDBO, AM 580, always streaming inside your WDBO app. David and Adam from the Refresh Computer Superstore sitting in studio today with us, guiding us through another great hour of tech advice. If you're somebody who may be interested in reaching out to the Refresh Computer Superstore, by all means, reach out to refreshcomputers.net, or you can give them a call at their free tech support hotline.
All right. Thanks, Josh, and thanks, everybody, for listening to Tech Talk with Refresh Computers. We really appreciate you listening. And don't forget, you can listen to this show in its entirety by going to our website at refreshcomputers.net. Click on that podcast link, and you can catch up on all the stuff that we were just talking about, which including the deals, some AI stuff again from Elon Musk that's going on, SpaceX satellites,
stuff. Yep.
You get to hear me if you can stand it, bragging about my new RV I bought, but it's all right there. And so this Business Spotlight is where we like to thank businesses who have recently done business with Refresh Computers. So I'll turn it over to Adam.
Yeah, so like Dave was saying, this is one of our favorite times on this show because we just get to have a little bit of a shout out. The businesses that we've worked with over the past week, just kind of get them out there. So I'm going to start off with Quality Green Specialists. They came by and purchased one of our Dell Optiplex 3070 systems. That's one of those small form factor systems. And they also had us transfer a bunch of their data from an old system to that new one. It's almost like jumping ship, if I remember correctly. That system was not too happy when we were moving stuff off of it.
Well, and we can do the data transfers for you, too. So bring in your old system, and we'll transfer your data over for you. And also, don't forget that, we have a ton of these systems in stock. So if you're a business that needs several of them, and you need to upgrade to Windows 11, now's a pretty good time to do it.
Especially with how much stock we've gotten recently of all these desktop systems. We also had Correct Drive LLC. They came by and purchased just some Ethernet cables from us, just working on their network, I believe. And they also got a surge protector from us.
Ooh, surge protector
biggest thing right there was the surge protector. We also had Life Game Inc. They came by and purchased one of our HP Elite X2 laptops. I think this is a 2-in-1 laptop.
2-in-1, and it flips all the way over. It's like an X360, so it flips over all the way.
Almost Surface-esque, but not quite like a Microsoft Surface, if you're familiar with those systems, but definitely a still nice laptop.
The Surfaces are nice. We have some in the store, but I kind of lean more towards these HP.
Yeah, they're more repairable to begin with.
Exactly.
We also had New Vision Auto Glass. They purchased one of our Dell Latitude 5500 laptops that we were speaking about, I believe, earlier. If not, we were talking about the sister, the 5400. 5500, it's a 15-inch. We had Justin Clark and Associates. They came by and purchased one of those Dell Optiplex 7060 systems, and they also just got some adapter cables for their monitors. They needed some adapter cables. They had VGA on their monitor. The system only had DisplayPort. Picked up a quick adapter cable right then and there.
Oh,
got them on their way.
And a shout out to Justin. I just ran into him a week or so ago at one of our mutual favorite restaurants. So he was there eating and
perfect.
Stopped by and said hello.
We had Commercial Electric. They came by and purchased a RAM upgrade from us that we went ahead and installed for them right there while they waited. Only took, I think, about 10 minutes to get it fully put in, and were able to also just do some other diagnostics, make sure their laptop was good before they walked out with it. We also had Do Right Enterprises. They came by and purchased a 1 terabyte solid-state drive from us and had us install it into the system for them, get it all partitioned, installed properly, so they didn't have to worry about getting inside of it and not knowing what hooks up where.
Mm-hmm.
We also had Legacy Book Publishing. They came by and purchased one of our HP EliteDesk 800 G5 systems, that one we talked about earlier. They also had us clone all of their information over to that system, and they also got a 1-year extended warranty on that.
That's right. We offer extended warranties on all of our desktops and laptops. People ask sometimes, what's your standard warranty? It's 90 days, right? Mm-hmm. And then when you purchase an additional 1-year warranty, you actually get an additional 1-year warranty.
So you get the 1 year and the 90 days.
That's right.
We also had Florida Cardiology came by, just purchased one of those Optiplex 3070 systems. We got a bunch of those in stock right now.
Well, and that says a lot to me that, these places, the doctor's offices, the dentists, all these places that they really depend on their computer. If you're a business, you depend on your computer. That's why all these businesses buy from Refresh Computers, because they know they're getting a dependable system. And last, I guess, would be Wayne Dench Performing Arts Center, of course, which they are a long-term customer. They came in and bought another monitor from us, and that's all we have time for today, folks. Don't forget that free tech support hotline at 407-478-8200. This is David Leavitt, owner and founder of Refresh Computers. We'll be talking to you again next week.